Hey everyone, welcome to the Redmen TV. It's the uncensored match build-up. It's Leicester versus Liverpool, Sunday 4:30 at the King Power. And there's a chance that Liverpool could become Premier League champions by the end of that game. We'll talk all about that a little bit later on, the permutations and all that stuff. Delighted to be joined by Lewis and by Luke for this one. Warning you all now, and full disclosure, you're not watching this live. This is recorded. It is Thursday as we sit here. It's Bank Holiday Friday. We've given everyone a day off. It would be nice. So if anything happens in a press conference or something mad happens that you're not aware of, anything that happened after about 1 p.m. Thursday, that's why we've missed it. Just full disclosure, but we're still going to do the usual show just again before the manager has done his press conference. Gentlemen, thank you for coming in on this changed schedule. Done us all a bit of a favour. So like the team can have a little bit of a break before what could be a potential manic week for us. Liverpool versus Leicester. We're sat here, Lewis, now, and there's a genuine chance. We'll find out in due course, of course. We're previewing a game where Liverpool could become Premier League champions. It's fantastic.
Surreal. Absolutely surreal. And you know what? It's not, if we do win it against Leicester, made up, won the league, I would like to win it at Anfield. I think that is the one caveat that I would like to this. But fingers crossed, I'd rather get it done sooner rather than later. I'm absolutely made up.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm looking forward to it, especially if Arsenal do drop and there is the potential of winning the league there. Like that atmosphere pre-kickoff's going to be absolutely amazing in the King Power. So
are you going?
Yeah, I'm going. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to it. But I am the same as you. I know it's picky. I know we shouldn't be too picky, really. Should we? We always do it the hard way, don't we? Anyway, but I would like to win it at Anfield. Just going to be more of us there, and you know, all my mates will be there. All the hard fellas will go to the game. If they'll be there, and they'll
beggars
be
can't
great.
Be choosers.
Yeah. Champagne problems.
We're not beggars,
honestly.
but a team that's how many points clear, so we're all right.
Well, it's more a case of Arsenal can't. Yeah, Arsenal can't bank on them to any favours. So as you know, if Arsenal lose against Ipswich, we'll talk about that later on, and then Liverpool beat Leicester later on in that afternoon. Liverpool will become the Premier League champions the league champions for the 20th time, which is unbelievable. And there'll be 5 games to go, and they'll be confirmed champions, which is ridiculous. There's also a chance, which worth mentioning, if they win that game on Sunday, they could become champions in the midweek when Arsenal play Palace. There's another permutation there. But for now, we'll talk about this game in particular, because whatever happens, Liverpool want to win. They've been looking to win. Lewis, I'll start with you. They're playing a Leicester side who, they did show some fight last weekend. They're getting that draw against Brighton, but they've lost 8 home games on the spin. They haven't scored a goal in any of those last 8 home games. The change from Steve Cooper to Ruud van Nistelrooy was meant to inspire them to stay up. It hasn't. They're gone. The title race, the relegation battle's pretty much as over as the title race is now. All about the shouting. But yeah, the pessimist says, well, they're due a goal at home. The realist says, well, they have struggled to score goals. Yeah. They have struggled to win games. It should be no different against the best team in the country.
Oh, no, absolutely. And I think it was something like before that 2-2 draw, they went 7 just consecutive games without scoring. And they've still got a Jamie Vardy up front who's, 36, 37 now? When we were talking about Southampton this season, we're saying arguably the worst Premier League team ever. They're already relegated. Leicester are a contender for that as well. And while Sod's Law would be, they would get a goal at King Power, just don't really see much coming from them. Just play the way we've been playing. Maybe just get it done a little bit earlier than we have been in recent weeks, but just keep doing what we're doing. I can't see Leicester getting too much.
It's weird, Luke, because you mentioned you're going to game, and usually the King Power, actually, in recent years, it's been quite difficult for teams. Liverpool's record against Leicester's fabulous. It was a 1-0 defeat a couple of years ago now, a while ago, but Liverpool have tended to do well. But it's always been a tough place for people to go. It's been the exact opposite this year. The mood around that place has been dreadful. They didn't really like Steve Cooper anyway. The Nottingham Forest connection was a difficult thing for them, and then it hasn't worked with Van Nistelrooy. The transfers didn't particularly go well for them either. It just feels like in years gone by, I'm just looking. They've been beaten 3-0 by Newcastle at home. They got beat 3-0 by Man United at home. They got beat 2-0 by Arsenal. They got beat 4-0 by Brentford. The list goes on. 2-0 by Fulham, 2-0 by Crystal Palace. Teams aren't fearful of going to the King Power anymore.
No, and they shouldn't be, really. They've been absolutely terrible. In terms of Liverpool, going back to recent years when we've got there, man, Curtis Jones put in a great performance there 2 years ago. He was a brilliant player. Then you think back even further, you've got the Trent Alexander-Arnold free kick. Then also in recent memory, we're at Leicester, you've got the Community Shield, where we go and we win there. There's great memories there as the King Power, as a Liverpool fan. I expect us to go there and sort of just get the job done. I think one to touch on in terms of what you said about the goals is, I always try and come on and let's try and make a bit of a case for to the other team, and it's extremely hard to make one. Leicester, they come to Anfield earlier in the season, we win 3-1, they lead 1-0 for about 40 minutes. In the fog, it was a terrible game. But that 40 minutes with the led 1-0, they looked like a decent side. But if you think like sort of game state there and where the title was, Liverpool at the time, we're only four clear. Arsenal playing the day after us against Ipswich, so it was the chance to extend the gap. Earlier, I think a couple of weeks earlier, we draw with Fulham, don't we? They draw with Everton, and that feels like a missed opportunity to extend the gap. They've got the new bounce, they've got Van Nistelrooy, and it's a different sort of game. You sort of think he's only had 2 games in, he's a United fella, he's going to come here and try and spoil our party, and we got the job done. If they were going to get points off of Liverpool this season, it would have been then. Everett was pointing to the then. Now they're a team that haven't scored at home since, I think, December. I think Deco Overeem got the last goal in December at the King Power for them, in the league, that is. Yeah, and that's absolutely terrible. Yeah, it's terrible.
And it's weird because actually, on paper, again, Mavididi feels like he could be a good player. Overeem, Daka, Vardy, McAteer, El Khanous, they all look good players, Lewis, but for some reason, they've just been dreadful on it. And you're right, often we'll sit here and go, well, how can a team beat Liverpool? And you never, ever underestimate anyone. Listen, Southampton are the worst team in the league, and they've actually given Liverpool 3 rather difficult games over the course of the season. So you never count any chickens. And they clearly haven't given up, because they were down and out against Brighton, and they did get themselves a point there. Might not mean too much, but there's nothing on the paper that terrifies you, really. Like, Mavididi could have a decent day, or something goes against you, but there's no one you're having kittens about, you know what I mean? In that team.
No, it's the same with the Southampton one. Like, I think Tyler Dibbling was probably the only one where you were looking and thinking maybe he could do something, but Leicester have nothing that I'm really looking at and thinking there's a fear factor there, and that's something that even teams that have gone down in recent years have had that star player where they've been able to cause problems. They're a side that have come into this season and thought, get Steve Cooper in, proven Premier League manager, that'll be enough to keep us afloat. That's not worked. They've panicked and they've gone for the shiny new manager in Van Nistelrooy, who had a little bit of a purple patch at United, and thought, yep, problem solved. They look so weak defensively. They've still got Wout Face at the back, who's just pretty woeful, not to completely slag him off, but yeah, there's nothing about them where I'm looking at and thinking there's a fear factor. And like you said, King Power isn't the same place it used to be. Go back 10 years and it was one of the most... Yeah, exactly. It's hostile now, but not in the good way that you'd expect from a fan base. Yeah. So,
it's one of them. The only thing I can do here, I suppose, then, Luke, is complacency like that. Do you think Liverpool needs to guard themselves for, especially, and maybe nerves, if something happens in that Ipswich Arsenal game? I wouldn't expect it to, but you never know. Arsenal coming off a big win in Spain, you don't know how they react against them. Ipswich are the best of the 3 teams who are going to go down, but nerves, maybe a little bit of complacency. We saw, I think, a little bit of both of those last weekend at home to West Ham, who aren't that far off that end of the table either. I suppose that's the main worry for Liverpool then.
Yeah, but I think the title's all but wrapped up now. It is, with that far clear, you'd expect us to win it. And I think that is where a little bit of complacency does tend to slip in. We especially see it the year we won the league back in COVID. I think when we won the title, we sort of fell off a little bit for a couple of games and brought it back up. And that's fine if you're going to be the team that wins the league, But let's just get it done. Let's get it done and fall off after, you know what I mean? Let's give Chelsea a few points later on in the season and let them finish above Man City or something like that. Let's fall off then. Let's just go and get the job done and get it finished off. I think West Ham, I think we were just trying to control the game too much if we look back to that one. And there was that jubilation of, we've got the late winner and, we've won 2-1 and the skipper and Van Dijk and everyone's buzzing. But I'm walking out that ground thinking after I've had that moment of jubilation, God, how have we won that one? You know what I mean? Yeah. We've got away with one there. And I think last season there was quite a lot of them at Anfield, where this season there definitely hasn't been as many. And that's the point what sort of got us over the line and got us to this title. So I back the boys. I think we'll get the job done.
Yeah. You like to think so. We'll talk about Liverpool and team selections and all that kind of stuff with Arne Slot later in a few moments, actually. Yeah, in terms of the game, we finish looking at the opposition. It's one of those, actually, when a team gets relegated, Lewis, sometimes they get picked off, and you can see maybe a Liam Delap might get a move this summer when Ipswich go down. Southampton for maybe Tyler Dibbling. I'd be surprised if someone don't buy Adam Ramsdale, for example. Leicester haven't really got that. That's the thing that's really hurting them. They haven't really got that star power, that one man who even gives them really a fighting chance, and that's probably the ultimate reason, one of them, why they're going to find themselves playing in the Championship again next year.
Yeah, they've not invested well. And like you said, there is a few players in that team that at one point were really sought after. Wilfred Ndidi is one who I think a lot of clubs would have been happy to have. Ricardo Pereira is another one who was really
4 years ago,
talented. That's what I mean.
Yeah. Well, I think Harry Winks is one as well.
Yeah, there's talented players in that team from a period of time, but now they've just held on to him too long. You've gone through 3 or 4 different managers in the space of a couple of years. The investment's been poor, and the fans are the first to point that out, how bad things have gone for them. And it blows my mind that this is the same team that was winning the Premier League and the FA Cup and Community Shield within the past decade, and they are where they are now. But you are right, we can't get complacent. We've seen it against Luton, Hull, Burnley. Like, these teams can get results. Just get it done, because mistakes like the Robertson one against West Ham can happen if you do get complacent. So we can't get carried away. Just get it done as soon as possible.
Poor Andy Robbo getting thrown under the bus.
Sorry, Rob.
Mistakes by Virgil van Dijk.
I don't think you'll care about my opinion, but you know.
You are right though. That was again complacency in there. It was definitely a factor there. We will be speaking about Liverpool after the quick break. Just want to let you know before we go to that break though about the Reds weekend, and I'm sure you've seen by now. It's been everywhere. If Liverpool do get over the line, which we think they will. We'll be having the biggest part. I mean, the party's happening regardless, so I hope to get there. We are doing the biggest weekend of the summer. It's us, it's the Boss Night guys, it's the Anfield Rap guys, the Red Weekend. They're Friday so far to Sunday, and maybe into Monday. We'll find out in due course. If you go to redweekender.com, our show, tickets are available now. We are at 2 p.m. on Saturday, the 24th of May. Not to bury the lead, but we're playing Family Fortunes against Kenny Dalglish and his family, which is crazy. And Les Dennis is the presenter. That's like a, I don't know, if that was like a sketch on the Mighty Boosh, then you'd be forgiven with that one. So
Chris Pajak's going to be cinema there, by the way.
So the Redmen TV family against the Dalglish family, including King Kenny, hosted by Les Dennis. We have also got live music from our good friends, the Ragamuffins. They'll be doing like a Liverpool set, some of their boss Liverpool songs. DJ Harry Mack will be keeping everyone entertained as well. There is a meet and greet opportunity with John Aldridge, Bruce Grobbelaar, Gary McAllister and Tasha Dowie. And if that wasn't all enough, so we've got all that kind of good stuff, the show will end with a gig by the Zootons.
So
like platinum album selling artists are our musicians for the day. Ridiculous. So if you're going to be in Liverpool, and why aren't you going to be in Liverpool for that weekend? It should be in theory. Come and see us on the Saturday, watch Liverpool win the Premier League title on the Sunday, and then on the Monday watch them parade it around the city. There is never a better time to get here. And if you can't, because there's no hotels, there's nothing available, book yourself in somewhere else. Anywhere within an hour on the train, get there. Chester, Southport, Wigan, Warrington, go as far as Manchester. Come and get involved. Tickets are available now and they will fly out. So go to the redweekender.com if you want to come and get involved. It's ridiculous. It's the biggest thing we've ever done by a million miles. So I hope to see you all there. Right then, we are going to go to a quick break, after which we'll be discussing Liverpool's team news. See you in about 30 seconds.
Hey everyone, a new month means just one thing. It means a new prize if you are a Legend subscriber on Redmen Plus. That's right, if you're already existing as a Legend, you're already in the hat, but there's still time to get over there and get involved. And not only Discord access, not only all the boss content, you will also be in the hat for an incredible prize this month. It's this signed retro Liverpool shirt, signed by the brilliant Skippy, Craig Johnson himself, the inventor of the Predator, midfield extraordinaire, never stop running. What a fella, what a story, and what a signature, by the way, as well. Get over to Redmen Plus, sign up as a Legend yearly or monthly, and you will get all the brilliant stuff that we do here, as well as a chance of winning that incredible piece of memorabilia. Take it easy.
Yeah, welcome back. You've just seen there via Dan our April prize to give away signed shirt by Craig Johnson. Listen, this one's on me. We haven't done the draw for March yet. My bad. I thought it had been done while I was away. It turned out it never got done. So I do apologise those who've waited like 18 days for this draw. But we are going to do it now. So our March prize, a signed shirt from John Barnes, which is another wonderful prize. So we're going to give that away.
It's a really good one.
Yeah, it's a really good one. Oh, a bit of noise on this as well. Nice little noise on the wheel. So congratulations to JT, Jaytee. You have won that John Barnes signed shirt. Thank you very much. Yeah, I promise you we won't be as tardy with the April draw. That was my bad. On me, I do apologise. Well done to Jay. You're getting that signed shirt. Right then, admin stuff's out the way for now. Let's talk about Liverpool. Again, full disclosure, haven't heard the manager's press conference yet. Just is what it is. We'll get there in due course. But from the latest we know, Darwin Núñez, who was ill, last week, we think. Is back in training. Alexander-Arnold has done some training, but we're not quite sure if he's ready. I'd be surprised anyway if he started, given how long he's been out. So that's where we're at with the team news. So Alisson's in goal. Van Dijk, Konate, Bradley. It's not going to be Trent, is it? Even if he's available, they won't start him. Left back, I mean, I thought Tsimikas was good last week. He got taken off, and I thought Robbo's had a real struggle again, a little bit. The left back, we have this conversation all the time when we're on the shows, it feels like, Lewis, but left back is the first decision the manager's got to make. What do you see him doing?
It's weird because it's never that Tsimikas is playing incredible. It just depends whether or not Robbo's good or bad at the time. And like you said, he wasn't great against West Ham. Obviously, what happened, not under the bus again, but like, I don't know. I do foresee a world where maybe Tsimikas does start, because if you do come to a point where we don't win it against Leicester and Tottenham is the game where we're going to win it, I'd trust Robbo a bit more in that match than I would Tsimikas. Obviously, mistake aside and whatever you want to say, I think he's the better player to have against that type of opposition. He's got the mindset for it. He's probably the better of the two still. So I think Tsimikas will probably get the nod against Leicester of anyone. Plus, they are going to be a little bit more direct on the wings. They have quicker players. So Tsimikas just seems a bit more suited to that scenario than I think Robertson at the moment.
I think I'd be in the Robertson camp, just because I do think his rotation was rotation just for rotation last week, which is a bit weird, because that's something we haven't really seen him do.
So I thought he got dropped.
Yeah, no, I don't think he was that bad enough to get dropped. I thought he was
against Fulham. Yeah, it was dreadful.
Come on, I reckon they were all.
Game. I think the two he left out were the two worst. And I thought Szoboszlai and Robertson both got dropped. Because he'd had the week off. So but I might be wrong.
But either way, whatever he's put it, he come off the bench, and it took him a while to sort of settle into the game, and he never quite did. So it's one of the. I think if you're going to start Simi and bring Robbo on, I'd say that's a poor, learning from your lesson from last week, that's a poor decision to make. So whoever plays, I think they've maybe got to play the 90, or at least maybe half an hour to embed themselves into the game, whoever comes on. So I think that's something the manager's got to make. I'd rather play Robertson in this game, just because I'd rather have him dialed in for the rest of the season. I think Tsimikas against Tottenham, against the likes of Kulusevski and stuff like that, you want Robbo to play that game. The best way for him to be dialed in is to just play both of them on the bounce. And if this is a game where we're going to win the league, like possibly, you want Andy Robbo to be playing, don't you? You just do want him to be playing, don't you? So
I'd play Tsimikas as well, if it was me. Midfield, obviously you mentioned this, Szoboszlai didn't play last week. When he come off the bench, and again, wasn't brilliant. When he come on, it's fair to say Liverpool were a bit nervy in the second half. So Gravenberch, it was Gravenberch, McAllister, Jones. So Gravenberch and McAllister will play, but no point arguing. It's what he does elsewhere. He's got Elliott. He hasn't really used him at all. What do you think he's going to do there then?
Don't see Elliott coming in, really. We wished for it. Sobbo of the two, I reckon. Like you said, he's been rested a bit more, and yeah, he hasn't looked great, I suppose, in the recent week or two, but he's still Szoboszlai, do you know what I mean? He's going to put energy into that midfield, and if this is a game where we're thinking we just get it done, get it out the way as quick as possible, I think Szoboszlai is probably the best person to have in that midfield over Jones for that scenario.
I think I'll put Jones in, just counter arguments, isn't it? He played really well last week, and I think he's one of the best players in the park, to be honest. At Leicester, talk about it, 2 years ago, he had a great game there. This is one when he comes back in, he's put his foot down at this ground before, he can do it again.
Scored in the home game this year as well.
Yeah, exactly. So I think he can do a job. I think Sobbo needs to learn his lesson a little bit, because I know we talk about how great he's off the ball, and when he come on, he was absolutely running the legs off it, but just on it, the output's just been really poor of late. Do I think he's technically a better footballer than Curtis Jones? He probably is, but that doesn't go down to say that Curtis Jones isn't a really good football player, because Szoboszlai was, 70-80 million pounds, something like that, with whatever he paid for him. So I think give Jones the call up again for this one, give him the start, and then maybe Szoboszlai comes back in against Tottenham once he's not, he would have had 2 weeks training then, and also got a really good record against them.
Yeah, I suppose if it's a game where you think you're going to dominate the ball, which Liverpool would be looking to, I think that probably suits Curtis better than it suits Szoboszlai. So I'm 1 for 1 with both of you. I'm going Costas at left back, and I'm going Curtis. It's
Switzerland over here.
No, to carry on, maybe. I'm just right to carry on. To carry on with the theme. So again, Mo Salah, another one. I mentioned Virgil van Dijk earlier. His new contract now signed. Salah is still smiling after the ink probably just dried up now. He had a good little first half last week, and then kind of fades away. So he plays. Obviously, this is the question again. Now it's always 2 from however many. It has to be Diaz on the left, surely.
Yeah.
Gakpo looked miles off it.
Yeah.
And Diaz has been our best player for a few weeks, I think. We're in agreement there.
Yeah, all in agreement.
But it's on the left. It's not up front.
No.
Up front feels like at the moment there's no great option.
Do you feel like if you put Diaz up front, I think lately, I was on for the Diaz experiment at first because it was all it was just Roberto Firmino sort of experiment, wasn't it? But that's what we were trying to do with it, and it didn't quite work out. And I would just think if you're putting him there again, you're just wasting time. You know what I mean? You're wasting his time as a player because we know he's all right there. He can link the play well, but he's not Roberto Firmino, and that's what he was trying to do.
He has the odd game where you suddenly think, "Fuck, this is the answer." Like he can really make this full time, and then he has 3 or 4 where it just doesn't. Nothing's coming of it, and I just think you're wasting a position on the pitch if he is there and it isn't working whatsoever. And Nunez isn't the option. I don't think that's an argument that could be had for hours. But I think Jota, he can come up with that vital goal, and he is someone who, if you've got him, use him. If you need to rotate him, you've got 2 options there in case. So I think Jota for this one.
Yeah, I think I would. I think I agree. I think I would probably stick with Jota, but again, options aren't plentiful. I mean, the outside shouts something mad like a Chiesa, or he just hasn't shown any desire to want to do that.
No, it's a shame, really. I really like Chiesa. I think I've made the case loads on the show that I'd love to see him in that 9 a bit more. I think we could see him off the bench here, especially if it's a bit more of a tighter game than we think it's going to be. Obviously, Darwin was ill, as we've been led to believe. Whether he was ill is a different story. But I think it's definitely an option and something the manager could do this time round. I think Leicester, they're a bit of a lesser side. If we're in a game, what's that, 1-1, 2-1, and you want to bring the forwards on 4-2-4, we've seen him do it a few times. This is a game where we could definitely see it. But I do think he'll play Diogo Jota, and that's just how it is, isn't it, really?
It's actually Jota or Nunez are the options.
Yeah.
I think there's a case to be made for Darwin as well, but I'm with you. I think he'll probably will...
We've said that for weeks, though, haven't we? It's not seeming to, and I think you're right with the Chiesa argument. Like, I would love to see him as that 9, but I think that because we just put ourselves in such a good position, now's not the time to start experimenting with it. Maybe if we get it wrapped up against Leicester or Tottenham or whenever we do it, give it a go. Why not? Just see how it goes and see if you can make a case for an argument for next season.
Absolutely. Yeah, Liverpool want to win the game first and foremost. And I say, if they want to win at Anfield against Tottenham, they have to beat Leicester.
Yeah.
That's probably the given, pretty much give or take. There's opportunities to draw and stuff, but more so, yeah, you're right. Right, speaking of which, let's bring up the Premier League table then, and we will go through the permutations one more time and have a little look where we're at too. So as it stands, Liverpool currently top on 76 points from 32 games. Arsenal, 63 points from their 32 games as well. So to clarify, if Arsenal get beat by Ipswich before Liverpool play Leicester, then Liverpool can win the title by beating Leicester. If Arsenal draw... Technically not, because there's goal differencey things. It is worth mentioning the Palace game in midweek as well. If both games ironically are a draw, Ipswich v Arsenal and Arsenal v Palace both end up in draws, Liverpool will be champions if they beat Leicester. They just won't know it until after Wednesday. So that's where we're at with all this kind of things. Yeah, it's there for Liverpool basically. On that, then we always look at other fixtures. Is there any chance Ipswich beat Arsenal, Lewis? Do you think before we play Leicester?
I mean, stranger things have happened. I'm not going to sit here and say that I'm confident that Ipswich will get a result, because I'm not, even being honest. But they can. They have shown a bit of grit and fight recently. Was it Brighton recently? I know Leicester drew with them, but I'm sure they had a good match against them lately. Or Chelsea. Chelsea they got 2 against them. Sorry, I'm getting all my names mixed up. Both mid-table. But
and they beat Bournemouth, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. So that there is a good team there. I'm not holding my breath, but they could realistically do something, especially if they're still fighting for survival.
I suppose it's more a case of Arsenal as well. What type of team Arteta puts out, Luke, and because if I'm him, every single thing I'm thinking about is PSG in that Champions League semi-final. The league's gone. Maybe they got half an eye on finishing second over Newcastle, who were third, who were coming up like a train behind them. But we've been here before when you're guaranteed your top 4, or you're guaranteed to finish roughly where you're going to finish, and you've got big European games coming on the horizon. Not only from the manager's point of view, in terms of his team selections and whatever, just from the player's point of view. Do you run that extra yard? Do you save yourself in a tackle? Do you not fly yourself in? Are you that bothered if you lose? How committed are you to chasing back? It's just natural. That's the reason I think about it. They've had a tough game in Madrid, albeit one, I say tough, they were good, but they had to put the work in. And then they know they've got a massive opportunity to win the Champions League. There is a case to be made that Arsenal just kind of just half-arse one of these next 2 games at least.
Yeah, I could definitely see it. They put in an absolute performance last night. It has to be said. To beat Real Madrid 5-1 over 2 legs is it's exceptional, really. Especially the team of superstars that they've got now, and it was organised, and it was defence at times and putting players behind the ball. But sometimes you've got to work and get it over the line. Whether that then bleeds into this performance is a different story. Whether if he's going to rotate the team quite heavily. I think a really good example of this from my personal life story is my first away game was Fulham away in 06, 07, and we were 2 games away from Athens, and Rafa Benitez put out an absolutely terrible 11, and I think we got beat 3-1 or 3-2. I can't quite remember. But the 11 was terrible, you know what I mean? And that's not, you had Robbie Fowler up top, who was a great footballer for Liverpool, but at that period of time, he was not very good at football anymore. He was getting on, wasn't he? And, that could be the 11 that Arteta puts out. And he could say, right, I don't want any injuries. I don't want anyone running too hard. I don't want any impact injuries. I don't want anyone getting a hit from a corner. Let's take yous all out and put a few of the young lads in. And I think that's where they went bleeding. And Ipswich, they haven't had too many sunny days at Portman Road where they've got a result. I think I'd be more confident if this was at the Emirates, the way their form's going, because they've been really good away from home, really poor at home. Is this the one where they go, we're probably going down, but at least we've got this massive win against Arsenal to remember and take with us. Yeah.
There's a few lads there playing for moves. It's whether because it's worth mentioning Arsenal because of the FA Cup in the weekend after. That's why the Palace games been moved to midweek. They don't, I think it's the 29th, I'm looking here, they play on the 29th against PSG, so it's Tuesday. So at time recording, it's 12 days away. Obviously, for you guys a little bit early, but a bit later rather. No, earlier. Right, I was right the first time. But it's whether he goes, Luke, we've had a tough week in Madrid, we'll rest them for Ipswich, we'll give them a game against Palace, and then give, because you don't want to have them 2 weeks off. Because that's how you lose the rhythm kind of thing. So it'll be 13 days between Madrid and that game against PSG. That feels like this might be the one where you go, listen, recover properly rather than worry about it, and then play them against Palace maybe.
Yeah, I think if you look at one eye over what you said about Palace before, with them having the cup game, they'll probably be rotated on the Wednesday. So you'd like to think that a rotated Palace side at home midweek with one eye on the cup is going to be an easier game than Ipswich away. You'd like to think that, especially with the day's rest in turn. So if everybody looks at that and just thinks, as long as we take 4 points over the next 2, I'd be happy with that, and keep Newcastle at bay. So it's definitely food for thought and something to think about. The door's going to be open there Sunday afternoon, definitely.
I wouldn't be shocked. Like I say, we'll be obviously keeping an eye on it and see how it goes. My guess is they're probably not going to get beat, but I wouldn't be surprised if they drop points again. I don't think, to be honest, I don't think they're that bothered. They might want to be. It depends how much they care about finishing third.
Well, I think they're bothered at all. Declan Rice said something last night, didn't he? Like, the league's gone. Something like that. I know that's what everyone thinks, the league's gone, and everyone's saying it. Well, but like, as a player, it must be hard to admit that.
Yeah, it's more. I think as well what helps them, and I don't think it would ever happen, but the fact that 5th now gets Champions League as well, the absolute worst case. They weren't ever going to get caught anyway. They're too far ahead. They're like 8 points ahead of City, who are 5th, but you never know. But now the fact that it's 5th gets you Champions League as well, I think you can be a little bit more cautious.
Yeah.
Why would you play Saka? Why would you play Declan Rice? Just like your key men. Why would you play Saliba? I would be giving them as much rest as they need. Give them a week against Palace, or give them a little bit of a run out against Palace to keep them taking over. That would be so that might open the door.
That as well. Like, sorry, the thing of Arsenal at the moment is that now a lot of people are going, this is a good team. They are getting the credit that I think they do deserve. The biggest thing that people throw at them is never won Champions League. You've never won it. If they can get that done this season, they're not going to give a shit about anything else. So all their eggs are going to go into that one basket, and that is going to play into our hands.
Absolutely. Maybe you might be right. Right then, let's have a little look elsewhere around the Premier League. Then the only thing that's really up for debate, like I say, is the top 5 now race. I think there are Newcastle, Forest, City, Villa, and Chelsea, Villa. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 teams gunning for 3 places. So we'll have a little look at that then. So Newcastle again after a massive win. I didn't even know they played, but apparently they battered their Crystal Palace, didn't they, the other day?
5-0,
they're flying at this moment in time. They go to Aston Villa, which is a massive game for both teams in that race. They're in terms of the league, guys, they're both in good form. And I think even the way Aston Villa played and by getting beat but kind of winning against PSG or vice versa, Lewis, that feels like a real good game. If Newcastle can win that one, they're probably getting themselves Champions League footy there or thereabouts at Villa Park. So that's a massive game for both clubs. Probably one of the biggest games they both have for a while in terms of European qualification.
Yeah, it's an exciting one. And Emery said after that match as well, he said we deserve to play Champions League football. So he's going to go for it. He's got a point to prove. If I'm going one way, I just think Newcastle at the moment, since they've won that cup, they've been soaring. And I can't see a world where... Or I can see a world, but I think they've got too much going into this Villa game. Villa might sort of be coming down a little bit from the PSG match from the Champions League, and they might go, right, we've had our moment, let's just give it a go and see what we can do. Whereas Newcastle at the moment have got it all to play for.
If we were in that top 4 race now with some of these teams, for example, City go to Everton, Chelsea go to Fulham, and Forest go to Tottenham, probably the easiest of the games, which it's my, but like there is no game there where I would be surprised if any of those teams drop points. I would not be shocked if City didn't beat Everton. In fact, I might be shocked if they do. You wouldn't be shocked if Chelsea got beat or drew at Fulham. Forest against going to Tottenham again. You wouldn't be shocked if Tottenham got something there. There's a chance there for whoever. If someone can win that Villa Newcastle game, there's someone somewhere's probably dropping some points there. That's the in terms of jeopardy of the rest of the season. It's that race for the Champions League.
Yeah, and it's also like the league's getting all tighter in it. I want to be a lot of players are bringing in like. Forest is a really good example. They brought in like Hudson-Odoi, Alanga, and they were all lads that were like, oh, he's all right, he's got a bit of potential, and then he just soared. And a lot of the clubs have done that in the league this season, and it's a shame because a few of them have fallen out of it. Just about like it looks like Brighton have probably had their day now. They've probably settled a bit. I know they've got a few big games at the end, but they're probably out of it. But,
same as Bournemouth.
Yeah, but
I'm Fulham.
Yeah, but you're still looking at like that top half of the table, going, God, who's going to be in the European Cup? And a couple of seasons ago, it wouldn't have been like that. And yeah, having fifth place helps that and does bleed into it because there's that extra spot. But the league is getting so much tighter.
Forest feel like they're doing a Leicester a little bit. That's their worry, isn't it? They've lost 2 on the spin. If they get beat by Spurs, again, Spurs are a box of frogs. We'll see. Spurs play tonight. That's time recording. So we'll see where we're at with that one. But like all of a sudden, Forest go from being third. They've been third for ages. They're already fourth. There's a chance they end this weekend potentially outside or very, very close to sixth. Like they've had this. They're dipping forms coming in a really.
But that's still a class season for them, though. Like
it is, but it's a bit like Leicester.
It'll be disappointing.
Very much
still...
like Leicester. Oh, we finished fifth. We should, and it'll be like, yeah, but we're Champions League
for ages.
All the time. It's a tough one for.
It'll feel like they've thrown it away, won't it?
Yeah, definitely.
It'd be nice for them to be back in Europe, wouldn't it? Because they're a proper European team. And Forest well before mine in your time, but the amount of fellas I spoke to at the match who go on about it and still hate them to this day. It's like mad.
Right, then that's around the league. Then obviously let's bring it back to Liverpool to end the show. I say that. Do you think Ipswich beat Arsenal?
No, I don't. No. I think maybe they draw. I think maybe they get a point. Maybe like 1-1, 2-2. Yeah. Liam Delap gets a goal, takes his t-shirt off, and then comes to Liverpool in the summer.
Could happen. So no one thinks it's going to be Sunday.
No. I think that's more hope.
I'd love it to be, but
I'm not ruling it out. I think I'd err on the side of probably not.
Yeah.
But and do you think Liverpool Leicester? Are we see a goal? What are your thoughts on that?
I think we rolled them something like 3-4-0. I think one of the stats is that
we could do with that. Really, we haven't done that for a while.
Yeah.
Is Van Nistelrooy's 8 points out of a possible 57. So if we're giving him any points, he must be rubbish, and we're not. We're top.
I mean, he beat Tottenham, so yeah,
they are rubbish. Yeah. Rubbish. Everton might finish above them.
Do you need to score a goal at home? How do you think it's going to go?
See, every time I say we're going to batter teams, it's always dead. We scrape it. If I was given a score, probably like 3-1. I think they will get something, but it's going to be like a corner or something daft. But yeah, I think we should wipe the floor with them, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah,
I think it depends how sunny the day is. If it's really sunny, we win 4-0. If it's a bit cloudy, maybe like 1-0, 2-1.
There you go.
Someone get on the weather app now, see what I do.
Google the Leicester. I think we'll win as well. Yeah, absolutely. And we do it with that one. Hey, guys, thanks very much for coming in. Thanks all you guys for tuning in as well to this Umbu episode. Like I say, thanks very much for sticking with us. There's a chance for Liverpool to become Premier League champions. Go and get your tickets for the Red Weekend. If you are one of our Irish viewers, go to ticketmaster.ie. The Redmen tour is coming your way next week. Did the tickets available for all the shows. Go to ticketmaster.ie. It's Dublin, Belfast, Cork. If you just search for Redmen TV on ticketmaster.ie, you'll get your tickets. Come and join us. There's a chance we're on stage when Liverpool win the Premier League in Dublin. What a time that would be. It'd be amazing. So yeah, come and join us for that one. In terms of this weekend, we will have the watch along. Of course, we'll be keeping more than half an eye on Ipswich versus Arsenal, and then of course the entire watch along, regardless what happens, of Liverpool versus Leicester City. So come and join us for that one as well. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Catch you all a bit. Ta-ra.